We all come to pray, going back for warriors, keeping the whispers away. In suits and in skirts, we're the rebels you say, talking about life and dreaming of a different day. On the back row we stay, in the back we don't sway, just let the sermon flow. We're on the back row.
It is time for another episode of the Cultural Hall. It is an Articles of News episode with Taylor One Chain Westbrook. Great to have you here, sir. I think that's going to stick.
I think so. I like it.
I like One Chain, and the fact that you wear a chain just makes it all the more appropriate.
No chain today, though.
No chain.
Unfortunately. No chain Westbrook today. Came straight from work, so.
They don't let you wear chains at the work?
Well, last time I wore a chain at work, my boss made fun of me, so I decided to leave it at home. Although, now that the nickname is sticking, I have a wrench to throw right in it. I was given another chain, but we'll get to that when.
You can't be two chains. That's already taken.
I know.
So you got to ask yourself at this time right now, are you going to be one chain Westbrook, or are you committing to three or multiple chains?
I think my bank account wants me to stick with one chain Westbrook.
So be aware what you're committing to, because I mean, that guy at work probably gave you a hard time for having a chain just in general, right? It's a certain kind of person that can wear a chain. But you start being two chains, and then it's a whole other kind of, of mockery that will come your way. You don't want that.
I definitely don't.
As a kid who was picked on most of his adolescence and into his 20s, most of his 30s, well, let's just be honest, most of his life, you don't want to welcome things. Don't give people artillery to be able to fight.
Good advice.
Yeah, thanks. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. I am doing well.
It's great to be able to not only see your face, but also to be able to hear your voice. And I'm excited because we're doing things a little different for this Articles of News episode, because you are a single gentleman and recently attended single members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints activities that were covered in the news. It's a couple weeks ago now. But because I'm finally getting back from vacation and putting my head above the water, I want to hear about what the Go with Christ, Forward with Christ, the
Together in Christ.
in Christ was like.
You saw the billboards. Don't even.
I couldn't. I knew it was in Christ. I couldn't remember the first word.
Fair enough.
So how was it?
It was amazing. So I went to both days of the conference. It was, well, really, there were activities spanned across about a week and a half or so. So I went to the weekend before, so this is about 2 weeks ago now. They had regional activities. So if you lived in the Salt Lake area, you went to an activity here in Salt Lake and up in Weber County and Davis County and Utah County and all the counties, that were kind of smaller activities, little service projects, temple nights, things like that.
What'd you do? What was your regional activity?
So I didn't attend all of it. The main activity that they did that I missed, unfortunately, was a service project at the Salt Lake City cemetery helping with, I believe, indexing, something like that.
Cool. Like taking pictures of the graves and being like, this one is here. Bing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then afterwards was a dance at the Institute building up at the University of Utah. So food trucks, food, dirty sodas, dancing, all that stuff. Lots of fun.
You saw the bad kids in the back of the church shooting up insulin after they had all the sweet sodas. They're like, let's go.
Exactly.
What are all those tracks from? Oh man, I had a dirty soda and a chip cookie.
That's what it's like living in Utah.
Yeah,
we don't shoot up drugs, but we'll take all the sugar we can get.
I said chip because I don't need the controversy by picking one of the other ones. I don't need the crumbled dirty dough controversy my way. So chip
Utah cookie wars.
Yep. So, okay. All right. So dance, did you get your, as they never say, groove on?
I did get my groove on a little bit that night. I saved most of it for the actual, the big conference last weekend. So I was a little, I stayed in the pocket, kind of reserved it a little bit. But there was so much to do at the main conference. It was actually, I was surprised by how much that they prepared. It was pretty cool. So they used basically the entire Salt Palace or the Salt Lake City Convention Center. For those who aren't familiar, it's just right downtown, not too far from Temple Square. with lots of different activities. Definitely trying the best they can to cater to everybody because,
Mhm.
you know, there's a whole, there's a whole smorgasbord of people out there. So you've got Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart for the introverts, as well as a
Wait, so
quiet room.
you could go and play video games?
Yeah, there was a whole corner with like 10 giant TVs with set up to play video games.
Okay. Okay.
There was a quiet room. Um, Basically you can just sit in there and be quiet and shut up with fidget toys, things like that. So if you got a little overwhelmed during the conference, you can go there, which is pretty cool. One of the coolest things.
Was it just looping the part of that song that goes, shh, be still? And that's all it was, just over and over again. Shh,
Were you there?
be still. You
Did
come on. Hey guys, let's go. Oh, oh, oh. It's quiet. Hey, were you guys? Oh, shh, shh, shh.
There was never mind. I'm actually not going to share that.
No,
Um,
share what it was. What it was.
there
Was there
was
one
you
person
ever
up in the
seen
front?
I'm sorry. You ever see those Instagram accounts like BYU PDA or
Sure.
yeah, there was a couple that belonged on that one of those Instagram pages in the quiet room, and it was very entertaining.
Is that real? There really was someone like kissing, making out in the quiet
Mhm.
room?
Yeah, 100% behind
I
a
don't
couch,
I don't behind a couch?
behind a couch,
How old do we
laying.
think these people were?
They looked to be about, I don't know, 21, 20.
Okay, so they were on the younger end, maybe, right?
Yeah, especially now that it goes up to 35, they're definitely in the young buck section
Okay.
of that.
Okay.
So
So like parents let them out. Maybe they still live at home. They don't have a chance to kiss. Inexcusable, but I'm trying to think of an excuse that would be all right for them to do something like that. Okay. Hide behind a couch at a church event. You could just not go to the church event, I suppose, and kiss, but no. Okay. Quiet
fair
room.
enough.
That's it.
To be fair, in their defense, there was more longingly staring into each other's eyes in a tight embrace than there
Mhm.
was making out.
Okay. Okay.
So
Those
maybe they
people are
hadn't seen each
married
other.
now. They
Probably.
they met the week before at the region thing, and then
Mhm.
they kissed that night, and they just got married yesterday. I
Yep,
DJ'd their wedding,
exactly.
so
Oh, nice. Best DJ in Utah, is what they say, right?
yeah.
One of the coolest things about the conference was now I don't use the app Mutual.
Okay. Too
I'm
good?
what's that?
Are you too good? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I'm too righteous. No, I've used it in the past, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of dating apps in general. I've used them and stuff, but yeah, it's not my style.
So now let me ask you this. I know I'm asking a
Yeah.
lot of questions. It's the
Mhm.
reason why this is going to be the majority of this first half because I don't have anything to talk about. Uh, but are you not a fan of them because like you feel like you're just a piece of meat and it's like a hurt to the old self-esteem if people aren't matching up with you? Because it's like Tinder, right? It's a swipe situation where
Yeah.
you can say I'm interested and talk to it. Is it like that, or is it like I don't feel like people get to know who the real one chain Westbrook is in just an app and I want to meet someone like that? Or are you more of the romantic that it's like, if it's meant to be, I'll find the person in the time that I find the person and the internet is not the thing? What, if you're being honest, what is the big, like, this is why it's not my jam?
I think the biggest thing with dating apps is that it makes people so like readily available. Like there's
Mhm,
so many thousands of singles in the palm of your hand that
mhm,
really connecting with somebody is just not really possible. You match with somebody, you talk for you text for 3 or 4 days.
mhm,
The majority of people are dry texters,
mhm.
one word replies, and and I don't know, and then it just goes nowhere. I know that there are success stories. Also, can I point out, I'm not looking to find anybody new right now or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
um, but
No, I get it. I get
yeah.
it. I found
I think people
myself.
are really ready. They know that there could be a million people better than who they're looking at right now
Mm,
through these apps, and so people don't put a lot of I don't know, I guess attention and time into it. A lot of girls' profiles will also say that they're just using it as like a game to be like, he's cute, he's not cute, he's cute,
mhm.
rather than like actually wanting to. meet and date people. So yeah, the apps are just a little bit cringy, but
Yeah, I didn't love it because, well, when I first was dating, there wasn't really the apps, and then when I came around round two, the apps were there.
Mhm.
I didn't like it because well, I can't remember if I've even ever told this story before. Hang tight, here we go.
All
I
right.
went on Tinder because I was like, that's what you do, I guess, was the thing. So I did the thing that I signed in with my Facebook account, and then I'm like, hey, and I'm divorced and whatever, right? And at first I was like, man, I made so many mistakes when I picked my first wife. I'm going to be so picky this time. And so, like, I think I flipped through a bunch of things and I think I maybe swiped right on like one, right? And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, okay. And then it didn't match. And I was like, okay. So then it's like the next day, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna spend a little bit more time. Maybe I need to be a little bit more open-minded. And I probably swiped right on like four, right? Of all the people and still no matches. And I was like, okay, okay, all right. Starting to hurt a little bit, but whatever. Third day, probably like 11 or 12. Fourth day, like 25. Fifth day, I was like every other one I'm swiping on. By the sixth day, it's like, what is going on? Why is no one swiping me? What is there? What, and someone asked me, said, hey, what are your profile pictures? And I said, I didn't know that you pick profile pictures for this. And they said, oh, well, you have pictures. So Facebook must have automatically selected them for you or some sort of algorithm as it interacts, whatever. Well, one of the photos was blurry and me with bedhead. That was the front photo. So kudos. Thanks, Facebook. Second photo was me and one of my buddies with him sitting on my lap. Uh, an extremely heterosexual photo, as you can probably imagine.
Mhm.
The third was a photo of a scorpion in my mouth from when I met the people that were animal handlers from the Lone Ranger, that movie, a decade or so ago. And then the last photo was the engagement photo from me and my first wife. So I just
Not the best
decided,
hook. Not the
yeah, yeah,
best
yeah,
hook.
yeah. So I fixed the picture, and the first person who matched with me said, "Hey, my kids are over. If you want to come over and sleep together." And I thought, this is probably not the way that I want to meet someone. And then subsequently deleted the app off my phone. Now, quick as I finish this story, I'm 6 months into dating my now wife, and she calls me up one night just pissed. Why are you still on this app? Are you trying to find other
Mm.
people? Are you, well, And I was like, no, I swear to you, I haven't, there was the thing and the not picking the picture thing, and then the, solicitation after saying hello to someone that I come over. That's it. I haven't had the app. And it turns out if you delete the app, you also have to delete your profile within the application. Otherwise, you'll show up and nearly end a possible marriage. So, just a little word to the wise. I don't do a dating apps either.
Mhm. Yeah, very important step.
Yeah, stay
I
strong.
missed that. Yeah.
So you're there, you're like, I'm in person. This is serendipitous. I'm going to meet some folks. You're not in the game room. You're not in the shush room. Where are you at?
I was all over. I was mostly so there's the for anyone who knows the Sop House, there's a giant room that can be split into smaller rooms, but they
Mhm.
had it open completely, and it's where they had the keynote speakers as well as the dance both nights. um, Different performances there as well. So once the nighttime rolled around, I was out there busting a move,
Mhm.
shaking my hips, all the
Mhm.
good stuff.
Sure.
They also had the hangout, is what they called it. So they kind of another room almost as big where they had lots of different activities. A couple of really cool ones that I saw were a VR activity for family history. So you could
Oh, that's
put
cool.
on these VR goggles, pick a city where one of your ancestors lived, and then you can kind of walk around. It's basically like fancy Google Street Maps,
Sure.
Street View, but where you can look around 360. I went to my great grandfather was from Torino, Italy. It's northern Italy in the hills. It was beautiful. I got to walk, pretend like I was walking around there, pretend I'm like an Italian man in the 1800s. It was great.
Hey, it's a
Um,
Torino. Hey.
Torino, mozzarella, pizza, and all that.
I don't know.
Yeah. Um, there was karaoke. There were some amazing karaoke singers. People definitely flexing their God-given talents there.
Sure, you're peacocking, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're there to flare and, attract a mate. So
Do people still say peacocking, or did you have to stretch into the recesses
the
of your
archives.
brain? Yeah, your archives and go, I think he means this.
Oh man, it's been a while since I've heard it, but I think it's out there.
Okay.
I think it's in the zeitgeist. It might be
I'm,
fading a little bit,
I
but
mean, you're here to make us feel younger. What you said flexing
yeah.
as other thing. Are there other terms that we should know? That person was instead of peacocking, it was blanking.
Oh, I mean, it's not exactly the same, but mewing. Have you heard of
Mewing?
that? Have you heard of
Mewing?
that?
No.
It's not exactly the same, but
Okay.
mewing is like,
And for people that are just listening, he's kind of like when you sort of check your face out in the beard, it's mewing.
hmm
What is it? What is that? I don't. Where does that even come from?
it's a Gen Z thing, if I'm being, or not even Gen Z, it's like Gen Alpha. So
Okay,
Megan the Mitch would probably, her kids would probably know what that is, but it's that. So
but
now
like,
I'm trying to be young. Gosh.
huh? Okay, it actually stems from something. It's a facial
Oh.
reconstruction technique that involves pressing your tongue against the roof of your mouth. That's clearly not what it is in a quick Wikipedia search. But mewing. Okay.
hmm It's not exactly the
Eh,
same as, but it's definitely putting on a face to kind of try, look attractive and hit somebody with some riz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Riz, another one. People are
Some
going,
W
no idea,
riz.
but I'm gonna go ahead and write that.
Yeah.
Get down
W
Riz.
riz. There you go.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And was it successful? I know you're not looking for anyone. You're in a perfect place. You're doing some healing. You love who you are and you are optimistic about the person that you are becoming. But was there anyone you were like, this was great in that aspect?
Nope. I
No.
wasn't looking. I
Okay.
was just having a good, I met up with some friends.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry to the listeners who want a juicy story about
Yeah.
me meeting somebody, but no, I was just there to have a good time, document everything. Um, but no,
Was it
did not meet anybody. I'm
was
sorry.
it better that way?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think. Well, I mean, yeah, I think so.
I mean, you always want to meet someone, right? Like if you're meeting someone that you fall in love with, of course, it's like it's better that I found this someone that I'm falling in love with. That, but you're not worried about it. You're like, listen, I'm here. I'm having a good time. How are you? Great to see you. Glad we hung out. Oh, those are some cool people. Maybe I'll hang out with in the future.
hmm
But you're not like some of those people I imagine that were like, he's here, or I've got to make sure that I'm properly, and then ruin it for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm there to, make friends, and I feel like those are the best potential like dating opportunities is when you become friends with somebody. And that's what it is with the dating apps. You don't get to like become friends with somebody and then date them really. It starts off from square one, like, hey, we're gonna go on a date,
Yeah, we're gonna
usually.
kiss.
Yeah.
That's what we say.
Ew.
Yeah, DM me for a kiss.
Gross.
The keynotes, were they like general conference field keynotes, or were they like I'm at a convention for my work kind of keynotes?
Very TED Talk style.
Okay, good,
So
good.
they're walking around the stage, they're
Sure.
doing the hand
Hmm.
gestures and everything.
Hmm.
Um, but church, obviously church related, and each keynote one was like a church historian, so it was kind of talking about how to approach, accepting that church leaders can be imperfect,
Hmm.
and it still be, Christ Church, was the one that I saw the most of. Um, and then aside from that, there were other rooms where there were church historians where you could come and, do like a Q&A and just like throw out your church history questions.
Hmm.
There were live podcasts being recorded in different rooms, things like that as well. There were stand-up comedians, which was pretty
Okay.
fun.
Okay.
So some people might be familiar with Dry Bar Comedy
Sure.
down in Provo. So they were
Sure.
comedians from the Dry Bar. So very, very funny stuff. I love stand-up.
Anyone in
Loves.
particular that we need to check out?
Ooh. There was one. He was so funny, and I do not remember his name.
Hmm. Hmm.
Keep
Maybe when
talking,
we
and I'll try and find it.
maybe when we take a break and we come back and when we do actual articles of news, you can tell me who the name is. Steve Solberg, a previous guest of the Cultural Hall. I think he was there, or certainly could have been there. He's a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Um, Trying to think of some other ones because that's hard. That I would imagine from a comedy standpoint would have to be really hard because you can't punch down at all,
Mhm.
at all. and you have to PG any sort of PG-13 set, even though
Yeah.
they're all adults that are there. Like you have to straight PG that set.
Yeah. I was definitely not envious of them because it like you just explained. I mean, dry bar comedy is already pretty PG, maybe
Hmm.
then bordering on PG-13. This
Sure.
definitely had to be their cleanest set.
Yeah.
Jose Sardui was his name. He's
Okay.
Cuban. He's very, very funny. It's the last name is Sarduy.
Yeah.
Um,
He's from
Very
Miami.
funny guy.
He's in the military, not a
Hmm.
member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
No, he is not. You
Nope.
know him. Wow.
I do.
He's so.
I don't know that you knew this, and you didn't. I used to be the founder, or I guess I still am the founder, but we don't do it anymore, um, of a thing called the Salt Lake Comedy Festival. And Jose Sardui came out one time to the comedy
Oh,
festival.
very
Very,
cool.
very
Oh,
funny. Very funny guy.
funny guy. But on top of having to do their cleanest set that they can do, they're in the hangout. So they're in the same room where the family history activities are going on. The video
Is
games are in one corner. There's food trucks in the back corner. It's a huge room. So, and there's a decent amount of people that are on like the couches up towards the stage, but I mean, you cannot hear the laughs at all.
mm,
And I'm sure the looming room behind them that is completely lit, kind of overpowered the small little audience they had there. But I follow a lot of comedians, and they'll talk about you know shows like that where it's kind of like you're doing it for the check. It doesn't matter if
sure.
the audience loves you because they don't know you, but they were great. I loved them. There was another one who I do not remember either, but it was good stuff.
That's
I'm a
fun.
big
That's
fan.
fun. I didn't know that they would be people over. Certainly, previous guest of the Cultural Hall, Keith Stubbs, owner of Wise Guys Comedy Club, episode 20 of the Cultural Hall. You can go back and listen to his episode.
I
Certainly
actually
had a hand
will.
to do with that because I know him and Jose are pretty good friends. So that's cool. What about, you haven't even mentioned, are you a part of the Guinness Book of World Records now?
I am one of them.
Okay.
I can claim one Guinness World Record. I did sign President Nelson's birthday card. So part of the conference, they had a giant, it wasn't even really a card, it was like a wall, like
Hmm.
a Z-shaped wall, where you can write a greeting to President Nelson for his 100th birthday. As we know, the church has kind of been publicizing not only that his birthday's coming up when he's turning 100, but his wish that all of us, as a birthday gift to him, find the one person in our lives who, needs Christ's love and attention and care and reach out to them.
Hmm.
Um, and so the contribution, you would first go to like a little laptop, put in your information, your email, so they could confirm the amount of submissions so that one
Sure.
person doesn't go right 10 times on the wall and
Yep.
count it
That's a
towards the.
Guinness thing. They have to be able to
Yeah.
go, did you really do this? Were you really there? Yes, I was. Okay.
Yeah. But then you could also go right on the wall. So I don't think I could find mine now, but I wrote my little greeting. He probably will never see it, but that's
But
okay.
yeah, it was a whole
It's the thought
wall.
that
How are
counts.
they packing that wall up?
It was, I mean, there were some like steps to get up. So some of the greetings people wrote were probably, I don't know, 8, 9 feet up. And there were just these tiny little rectangles on the
Sure.
wall where you just
Sure.
write your name, write a little greeting.
Yes, but
Uh,
how is he ever going to see it? Like maybe that'll be the backdrop for the broadcast that's coming up next month. Right.
Maybe it is on display right now at the conference center.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe goes on tours at the conference center from time to time. Maybe he forgets in between conferences what it looks like and wants to
Yeah,
take a little time.
what did one chain say to me? Boop, boop, bleep. There it is.
He does listen, I think he mentioned
Yeah.
in a conference. It was a part of a conference that was cut
Sure.
last
Sure.
last yeah, in
So
April.
I was listening to the latest episode of Articles of News, and that's, you would not believe what they said. But you weren't a part of the speed dating, it sounds like, no?
I couldn't make it. So the main reason I went both days is because I couldn't make it to the full conference on either day. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to soak up as much as I could. And most of a lot of the events were more in the early hours of the day. So the world record breaking speed dating event happened. I think it was from like 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I got there around 6:30.
Oh,
Oh
boo. See,
no,
she
I
was
couldn't.
waiting. She wasn't looking
Probably.
either.
Look, last year's resulted in one marriage.
Oh yeah.
This one was way bigger,
Uh-huh.
so
So
I wouldn't be
two
surprised if we hear a few
marriages.
stories. If you did participate,
And you
we'd
got
love to hear
married,
about
yeah.
it.
Heck yeah.
Or
I mean,
even
there
if you
was
just, went on a couple dates or something, let us
I
know.
mean, it was like a week and a half ago at this point. So
Hmm.
I mean, we should probably hedge bets a little bit. Do
Yeah,
you think that Churchill do it again?
I think so. I was curious with them splitting it into 2 days of activities. I really thought that it was not going to have a huge turnout
Hmm.
because sometimes, if you water it down too much, it's like, hey, this
Sure.
entire month we're going to activities. By the end of it, people are a little, you know, tired of it, I guess. But
Hmm.
both days, I mean, it was packed. And then you'd get into the later hours and it felt like maybe it was dying down, and then the concert would end. Um, and a whole flood of young single adults would come over from the Delta Center for the dance.
Hmm.
And I mean, there were tens of thousands of people there for sure. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I think so. I think it was worth it. We got some cool swag. Oh, that's what I was going to mention before. They gave us this little swag bag
Okay.
with a bunch of different goodies in it, including a chain that says "Together in Christ." So
Shut up. You got a chain?
I am sort of two chain Westbrook, but one is a church chain. So two
Yeah, it's
church
like your
chains.
Sunday chain. Yeah, it's like one and a half chains.
Yeah. Ooh,
It's like,
Sunday chain. I'll
hey,
wear that. I'll wear my Together in Christ chain instead of a tie.
yeah,
And I'll tell my
wear it
bishop.
with your young women's medallion. Did you have a mission tie pin? We had a mission tie pin. Mine actually is really cool. I found it the other day.
We had like a lapel pin,
Okay.
but it's pretty cool.
Which could also be put on a tie, but
I guess that's
neither
true.
here nor there. The other thing I want to ask you, since you are, in this age bracket, the change of 18 to 31 to 18 to 35, tell me your feelings. Good, bad, neutral, doesn't matter, matters to some.
I think it's good because I think I mean, 30 to forever is just such a big group of people, and especially with how the world is shifting, and though we are in the world but not of it, the church sometimes follows suit in that we get married later now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, more and more people are focusing on career, especially women,
Hmm.
are not as discouraged from focusing on their careers as in years past, decades past. So I think there are a lot of 30 to 35-year-olds who definitely fit into what a YSA ward brings, but were kind of forced out. And so I've noticed a few new faces in my YSA ward that I believe are from that age change. Um, it hasn't affected our unit a ton to where, the church announced with the change that in areas where there's more densely populated YSA, they can split it between what is it, ages 18 to I think 26 and then
Hmm.
27 and up or something to that effect. Our word will stay about the same. Because it was kind of an older YSA word anyway, mostly like 25 to 30 is what it was before. So I like it. Yeah, like I have a cousin who lives downtown who is like in her early 30s. I won't say specifics because that's respectful.
Yeah, because
But
you don't do that to women, Taylor.
exactly. I said it. You don't
I,
get to get me in trouble for it. I said that. Jeez.
yeah, like I
Anyway.
said. Oh yeah, yeah, you did. Good point.
Exactly.
Good point.
She definitely fits in more in a YSA word.
Yeah.
She's well, now I don't want to talk bad about 30 to 35-year-olds, but she's very like youthful and
No, that you
energetic,
can
and
listen. You can be an old 18-year-old.
that's true.
Yeah, I get it.
Very true. I'm basically a 40-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the golden corral before 5, and you're asleep by 9,
Yeah,
which would technically be like a 60-year-old. But let's make 60 the new 40 and 35 the new 31.
absolutely.
Done. Okay.
Love it.
All right. Do you have any sort of worries about the older guys and the younger girls, that spread, that any concern there? That was my kind of thing.
I don't think so. Oh, I do remember you and Megan talking about this whole change. I don't have a ton of experience in many YSA wards. I've been
Uh,
in two.
uh-huh.
Um, I feel like there's not a big emphasis on like dating within the ward.
Hmm.
I think it's more that we have a place to congregate where we are all kind of facing the same life challenges.
Hmm.
And so I don't really see a problem with it. Of course, it could be problematic. Now, is adults dating adults bad? I mean, we can all talk about what's weird, maybe.
Sure.
Um, but I think anybody who is like, ew, I don't want to date a 35-year-old just won't date a 35-year-old.
Right. Right.
I can't imagine dating an 18-year-old and having too much in common, so I wouldn't pursue it. But would I be friends and hang out with at an activity with an 18 or 19-year-old? Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Sure. Why not?
So I don't think so. Maybe it will bring up some issues, but I don't think it'll be widespread enough to be too
Be
big a
an
deal.
issue. Okay. Let's take a break. When we come back in the second half of Articles of News, we will do actual articles of news. BestDJinUtah.com is the website. That is where you go if you would like me to come and DJ your event. Now, will I do a family reunion where you all wear the same t-shirts? You bet I will. Will I travel to wherever you're at? Uh-huh. Am I reasonable as far as what I cost? Yes. Yes. Do I bring a good time? Yeah, all the things. Listen, Best DJ in Utah, it's my company. It's a thing I do that allows me to be able to have the time to do the cultural hall. So if someone's getting married, you think, man, they need a great DJ. You're throwing a party, whether it's a 50th or 60th or 40th or 20th or whatever the party is. I've done them all and would love to be able to do that. An anniversary party, certainly done those. I did a baptism in 2023. Yeah, we did a big dance party at a baptism. Spoiler, not a Mormon baptism, but it was fun nonetheless. BestDJinUtah.com is a website. I will get back to you within 24 hours with a quote. Come on now. BestDJinUtah.com.
Imagine running a small business today. It's challenging. Imaging and internet presence is an absolute must. Even with that, you're still a small star in a bright cyber universe. Now, imagine you have someone who understands how to get your site designed for your talents and then easily searched by potential clients. Imagine Lennon Design. Whether it's strictly a website or a whole package of logo creation, advertising media, and promotional materials, Lennon Design is your partner in business. They'll test the boundaries of their imagination to create something unique for you. When you need creative, affordable design, let it be Lennon Design. Call 801-699-3022 or visit LennonDesign.com.
Here in the second half of Articles of News, we in fact do Articles of News. Hit it, Peter.
You can't lose articles of news.
And away we go. Now, I have asked Taylor to put what he thinks is most important as far as some of the potential news. I certainly have some thoughts, some quickies that we'll get in, and we'll go for, I don't know, another 25, 35 minutes to be able to give you what is optimal for us about an hour-long episode of Articles of News. Interviews are coming back, everyone. Patreon.com/The Cultural Hall if you want to throw some shekels our way, you can do that. It's patreon.com/The Cultural Hall. You can do like $5 and $10 and $25 a month. Yes, some people do it, and we appreciate that you do that. So 5, 10, 15, hut, patreon.com. I don't know why we went into the hut like it's football. You wanted to start with this article, not from a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints publication, but I found it to be interesting. Take me there, won't you please?
Absolutely. It is entitled The Rebranding of Latter-day Saints to a Christian Denomination. How should Christians respond? So this writer kind of highlights how over the years the church has had a little bit of a shift. That the Church of Jesus Christ is in a season of transition after, I love how it says, after recently spending millions of dollars to rebrand itself through the I Am a Mormon campaign. The church has now decided not to use the word Mormon, and it kind of goes into all of that. A little bit of I don't know, some of this is a little bit mean maybe, but definitely an interesting topic. They talk about how recently on their Instagram feed there was an ad encouraging them to come to Christ-centered services, though they weren't able to decipher whether or not it was an official page of the church, and kind of going through some examples of church doctrine and church scripture that talks about how the church is the only true and living church, that it is not like other denominations, and that the church in its early years tried to kind of separate from the other denominations and kind of stand out as something different, and that now the church is kind of backpedaling and trying to say otherwise.
Well, do you find it fascinating? Because I think I see it. I think I see the switch going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, where we go, oh, hey, guys, we're not like all of you folks. And then we do that for a little bit of a season, and then we want to be like everyone else. It's like, no, see, we're cool. You know, samesies. Hey, same kind of thing. And I think right now we're very much in a season of like, hey, you know, we just want to be not picked on or whatever the impetus for being like this. We just want to be, we're just a Christian denomination. Here we are. Do you see that? Do you feel that? Or do you feel like we still stress our individuality and differences, even though we're trying to build bridges and make connections with other Christian faiths?
I see a little bit of both. When I was a kid growing up, I was really confused because like I would hear kids say like, we're not Christian. Like that family down the block, they're Christian, so we don't hang out with them.
Sure.
We're not Christian. Um,
Which I don't know why we would ever do that, but that's a discussion for a different time.
oh yeah, 100%. But and then I mean, from the church itself, there's definitely more of a message of let's unify with other Christians and other religions for that matter.
Mhm.
Um, but let's focus on Christ. Christ is the center of the church. He's at the helm, all that good stuff. And then I think when it turns into a conversation of like, yeah, it's all the same. It doesn't matter which church you go to as long as you're Christian. And then we're kind of like, pump the brakes. Well, here's why it does matter, and here's why we're different. So we definitely do. And maybe sometimes we like to kind of toe that line and like when it's more convenient, be like, no, we're different. And then when it's more convenient, be like, no, we're just Christians. But um some of this was interesting. They were talking about how on Google Maps,
Mhm.
very hard evidence here that um
That hard-hitting evidential proof of Google Maps, but
yeah.
I do think it's significant because you know that the church just doesn't do a random sort of thing. So I think it at least on some level is intentional. But go ahead and tell people what it is.
Well, so basically what they were saying is that if you look up a Mormon church, as they put it in the article, Chapel of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
Uh-huh.
now many of them will show the icon of a cross
Uh-huh.
on the map rather than the angel Moroni.
Mhm.
Um, I was going to ask you, do you as the entity applying for, hi, I have this address, please put me on your map, Google. I don't know how it works,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
do you say, please put this icon on my little dot? Or does Google kind of cipher through and apply what is most accurate?
Huh. That's an interesting thing that now I'm going to search because I know that there's an icon with my particular business. So
Hmm.
let me see. It'll go to me. I'm searching it literally as we do this right now. What is my little icon? Okay, so you've got and then where am I trying to find my okay, there's so like educational places have like the cap
Hmm.
you would toss up in the air when you graduate. Where is my I am not far enough. Let's
Did
see.
you go out of business without knowing it?
Oh no, I don't even exist anymore. This is not the easiest thing to decipher. Move. Okay. Let's see here. I've got to find my street. Why? Uh, you can
Just
have
read the address out to
restaurants.
all of us.
You can, yeah, just restaurants are the fork and the knife.
Hmm.
And yeah, sure enough, look, there's the church right there. It's a
What do we
cross.
have? The
It's a
cross.
cross.
Okay.
Yeah, my church is the cross here. Let me see what one. There's a like the hiking trail. That's a hiking person. Let's see if this one here. What is that? What is this thing? Oh, a doctor. That's cool. There's a doctor that lives in my neighborhood, and it's the
Little stethoscope thing.
no, it's like a medical cross,
Ah.
like a red with the medical cross. Okay. So yeah, churches now are the cross instead of I guess what used to be Moroni.
I mean,
So
I think
when
some
we
of them still are. But my question was, I don't know if that's actually like an option with the church did that, or if it's Google kind of more just putting things into a category and maybe they're reading into it. But I don't know. Maybe it was an active decision by the church.
Well, let
This
me see. Hold on, because
Go ahead.
I happen to be just down the road from another faith, a non-Christian denomination. Let's see what they have as their symbol here. Hang on. I know everyone. He's searching Google Maps while he checks this whole thing. Mauritania Road. There's that. I'm right there. That's no. So what is? Oh, interesting. Interesting. So there's another church in our area and they have opted to not even be on the map, and that might be because of some hate and some targeting that would
Yes.
reach out to those people. It's an Islamic center that's just down the road
Mm.
from me, and they're not even on there. So I was going to say, I wonder what their symbology looks like on Google Maps.
Interesting question. Yeah.
But it does denote. So as I'm looking through the different churches here, like Intermountain Baptist Church, it says Christian Church. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it says Christian Church. So that is a fascinating question. Is it a notation from Google Maps, or is this something that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has opted into? I think that certainly weighs into the whole discussion of, are we trying to rebrand ourselves as Christian like everyone else, or trying to be, different, or we just don't get to pick. Let's see here. Christian Church, Catholic Church. Okay, so you can be that. Calvary
different symbol?
Chapel Church, Christian Church, Vineyard Church, Christian Church. I don't know if these Assemblies of God Church. So maybe oh no. Okay. Yeah, interesting. So the Taylorsville, Utah Temple is denoted as a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the church right by the temple is noted as a Christian church.
Interesting.
So there is the option to be a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as opposed to
maybe it comes
just
down
Christian.
to who is managing, like, maybe for a stake center or a ward building, it's the stake secretary. So he's, and then if it's a temple, it's coming from church headquarters, and they want it to be more specific. So I don't know, but it was an interesting thing that would even be like of note to someone of another faith. They kind of laid out, how do we respond as Christians to this Mormon shift? They said to be clear on the unchanging nature of Christianity, to recognize false rivals to it. So I guess we are the false rivals. Basically talking about they should be unwavering in standing up for the fact that we are not Christians in the traditional sense, because we don't believe in, maybe Orthodox Christianity as far as the Trinity and other Christian theology that varies from what we believe. They also stated they should maintain a winsome tone in evangelism and public conversation. So to, be nice, to still always be sharing their gospel, but not to discriminate or treat us as different than they would anyone else. But yeah, very interesting read.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me. And when people are like, are Mormons Christians? I think that we rush to say yes. And I think it really, first of all, people are asking to either be divisive or divisive, depending on how you pronounce it, or like they're asking to genuinely understand more about it. And I think you can tell pretty quick where people's interest lies, right? Like someone will ask me, are Mormons or are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Christian? And I'll say, how do you define Christian? Well, I believe in Jesus. Yes, we are. Well, how do you define Christian? Well, the Trinity is one being who, no, then we're not. But it's interesting where some draw the line and some don't. And I don't know.
Yeah. I have a friend who's not a member of our church, who was kind of asking me that same question, because a friend of hers told her no. And I would definitely label myself as a Christian.
Sure.
But like you said, depending on what that means to the person you're talking to, I guess it would kind of change my answer. Whether I would really drive home the message, like, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints specifically. But overall, I feel like, we need more unity rather than division. I don't think splitting too many hairs will get us very far, but it's important to take note of how we're similar, and also defend, just like this person was saying, in their own faith, defend what you believe to be true. It's important to, stand firm in those differences as well, not be too passive that we, pass up an opportunity to share, the restored gospel with somebody.
Yeah, if it's clarity for comprehension, I'm all for it. I do this sweet thing with my wife where she'll ask me a question and I'll restate the question, because I don't think that she's asking me actually what she's asking me, because I'll answer the question that she's asking me. So I say, "Are you asking me this?" And she'll say no. And I say, "Then re-ask your question." She really loves that. That's a fun game we play. Doesn't get frustrating ever to her. She
Doesn't sound
never
like it
has
at
to
all.
say things like, "You understand what I'm asking you?" And I actually, and unfortunately, if I have a learning disability, it really is an inability to try and understand what people are asking me. If they ask me a question, I want to answer the question that they've asked me, as opposed to, "I know, but in general, are you Christian?" It's like, how do you define it? No, I mean, in general, I can't. I cannot answer your question. There's too many things that I would not want to be misrepresented or, incorrectly answer the question. I'm real fun that way. I'm going to take the next story.
Go for it.
This is about Hawaii. So, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints donated an additional $1.5 million to the American Red Cross to help the victims of the August 23 Maui wildfires, which is wild when you think about that was already a year ago now. Now, what I didn't know, and I'm sure it's just my not paying careful attention to details and just makes me go, geez, what else am maybe I'm not understanding? And as we revisit the pictures, because you in a news cycle always revisit the things from a year ago, you just see the ultimate destruction. There were 80 members of the church who lost their homes as part of the wildfires, and 5 members of the church who lost their life. I didn't remember that part of it.
I don't think I heard about that either, but it's tragic. It's horrible.
Yeah. Church has announced a temple to be there on the island of Maui and now donating an additional set of funds, which I think is great. Definitely a thing that we should do, and being able to partner with the American Red Cross to make sure that those funds go out in the best way that they possibly can. Just another great thing. But I read that and I went, I can't remember. In total, there were 102 people that perished and more than 2,200 structures that were just burnt, just destroyed. So there's that.
Yeah.
You want to take the next story? We got time for a couple
do it.
more, I think.
Let's do it. This is kind of a quick one. This is a list of the 30 countries with the most Latter-day Saints. So in a list of the 30 nations with the most members of the church, there were a few shifts and a few that stayed the same. The largest jump, which is kind of interesting, is that the Democratic Republic of the Congo was in the top 30.
Mhm.
But moved from number 28 to 22, which is a pretty
Here we
huge
go.
jump.
Come
We've been
on.
hearing a lot of news from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, so it makes sense. There's a lot going on, a lot of movement there. What didn't change were the top 9 countries. So United States, Mexico, Brazil, Philippines, and Peru as the top 5. And those top 9 have kind of maintained their spots for quite a while.
But there is a new number 10.
Oh, Nigeria.
Yeah, that's right. Welcome to Top 10dom, Nigeria.
I'm Nigerian, so
I did not know that.
Nigeria. I mean, I think I should put that caveat. Then we're pretty sure.
What have you?
Do you
what
really
kind
want me
of
to go into it, Richie?
What kind of? I know you're adopted, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I thought you were adopted. No, then how do you not?
Awkward pause.
Yeah, awkward. Listen, I blew right past it. I've said way more awkward. No, why do you not know?
Well, on my dad's side, we are the descendants of slaves here in the United States.
Okay.
So for one, it goes as far as leaving the United States in my ancestry, it goes a lot further back than my the white side of me. On my mom's side, a lot of church history. So a lot of, came to to Nauvoo from England in whatever year, and then came to Utah. It's kind of like the summary of all of them. And then with my dad, we just don't really know a lot of the tree. If you were to look at my family tree, it's literally me, my parents. On my mom's side, I can't find a single ordinance to do because my entire family on that side are members of the church, and it's gone back to the 1400s.
Sure.
And then on my dad's side, I have my dad and my grandma, and that's all I know. My dad never knew his father. But especially I have an aunt who is not a member of the church, but has done a lot of genealogy. So I need to sit down with her and kind of
You do.
figure some of that out. But with particularly with slave ancestry, it's kind of hard to determine who's from where because names got changed suddenly. And there's, Westbrook, believe it or not, does not hail from Nigeria.
No.
So
Westbrook, huh? Of the Nigerian Westbrooks? No, I don't think so. Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
exactly. So I do hope to figure that out sometime soon, but I don't know much about that side. So that's
Well,
why, Richie.
well, no, listen, have you ever done one of the DNA tests?
My sister did one.
Okay, and what did it say for her? Because it gives you at least areas.
True. It was mostly West Africa. Well, it was like half West African, basically.
Okay, okay,
So Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa.
okay.
So
Good
makes sense.
odds. Good
Yeah,
odds.
very good odds. And that's
Okay.
what my dad has heard from, family stories and stuff. So
Sure.
most likely, but
Okay.
I'll
Well,
figure it out.
listen, next time the ancestry tests are on sale, like a Black Friday or something,
Mhm.
do it. Spit in a tube and find out where you're from.
Fair enough. I'll do it. I'll
Okay.
let you know. Keep you
I'm
posted.
committing you. Is there anything that would stand in the way from you being able to complete the thing which I've just asked you?
No.
We'll be back on Monday at 7, or would Tuesday at 5 be better for you?
I'll be busy both days.
This is how we used to do missionary work, just so you know. We never gave people an option of saying no. It was, which of these is better for you? The old commitment pattern. Let's move on, shall we? Where do we want to go? You
That
said
one's a long one. We might need to keep that one in the bank.
yeah.
I could go.
Yeah.
I could go
Oh,
on about
yeah.
this one. So
Man, we go. Yeah, let's go. Let's go to the number 7. Let's talk about the millions of meals in Canada. It is interesting to me. First of all, leading this whole story is that 1 in 10 Toronto residents rely on food banks. Did not know that.
me neither.
The crazy prices of being just Canadian. Not that they're like, hey, you're Canadian, pay us money, but it almost is like that with taxes, with the housing crisis in Canada, worse than it is, some would say, in Canada than it is here in the United States. Just, prices, costs, all these things just going up, 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 up. And so, as part of that, the church, that is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, donated 2 million meals to a Canadian food bank. Now, before the pandemic, the largest food bank in Toronto averaged 65,000 monthly visits, and now it's 350,000. Quick math would tell you that's between 5 and 6 times in the last 6 years. That's how much it's gone up.
It's insane that they could even facilitate that within one food bank. It's crazy. The money is going to be used for a few things, including 2 trucks that they'll use in order to be able to transport the food to the people in Toronto who need it, which is great. I'm sure that'll help with those, insane numbers of visits that they're getting, as well as the 2 million meals that you mentioned that it will be able to pay for as well.
Pretty crazy. And certainly this is an opportunity where, too, it's not mentioned within this article, but you can bet. And I don't even have any information on this, but you can bet that people from that food bank in Toronto have been to Welfare Square in Salt Lake City and said, how do you do this? We have a tremendous need. And leaders and those that run those programs within the church have people here all the time. You see the videos and the pictures that show up in the church news where it's like, so and so comes from so and so, from such and such place, and we're excited and it's fun that they're there and all of those things. But lots of those people, and what they don't talk about is this part of this government from this place came here because they need to know how to successfully do that. And though we're not without flaws, certainly, the welfare part of the church is noteworthy, is world leading in many aspects of it, both in quick and response and in being able to serve those it serves. So it's too bad that there's the need for it, but great that the church could step up and be able to do something like that for them.
Yeah, always love these stories.
I wanted to do this one. This one wasn't in your notes, but there is a sister missionary that passed away while serving her mission. I think I want to make sure that I get this right. She was serving in Haiti and was from Haiti. She died from what is believed to be sudden complications related to a pre-existing medical condition. She'd begun her anticipated 18-month service at the beginning of 2024. Church officials did not provide any additional information on the cause of her death. Sam Penrod, who is the spokesperson for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, said, quote, "We send our deepest sympathies to the family and friends of Sister Lucas and the missionaries that she was serving alongside." Penrod said, "We pray they will each be comforted with the love and the peace that the Savior can bring during this time of mourning." Interesting to note that there are 24,900 members of the church in Haiti, and the Port-au-Prince mission boundaries encompass the entire country of Haiti. Officials did not disclose where Lucas was serving within the country at the time of her death. And I think that the only people that can be serving in Haiti right now, because of how just terrible it is governmentally and gang and all those things, you have to be Haitian to serve in Haiti.
Makes sense. I
Yep.
feel like a lot of countries go through periods of time like that, and it's just horrible that that's happening. I wish, but then I'm sure the church is helping in lots of ways there. But always sad to hear about missionaries dying. But
yeah, I mean, it is a thing that will happen to each of us, which isn't, to make it any less sensitive to the thing of that, but it's just so hard. I can't imagine sending a loved one away and then not having him come back. Similar to, military. We do this in all types of things. For some reason, I think it hits a little differently when it's a missionary, but, still just as impactful for those that are serving around Sister Lucas and other folks as well.
Absolutely.
All right, maybe we're done. How does that sound? We got
Sounds good to me.
stories done. We talked a lot about single people.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did.
Sorry to all you married folks.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got to talk about you. There's more of you than us, more singles than marrieds in the church.
Hope it stays that way. Just kidding.
But I mean, we're doing a pretty good job of keeping it that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's true.
He's not looking for anyone, you guys. He's not looking for anyone. He doesn't need it. If you're listening and you're thinking, man, I'm single and he sounds kind of fun and I'm attractive and have a lot going for me, he's not interested. He doesn't want to get to know you. He would rather not, he said.
I tried to lower my chair and go off camera, but this is as low as it goes.
Let's escape the whole thing. Well, we hope that this episode has nourished and strengthened your body.
That you were not healthy enough to listen this week, that you'll be healthy enough to listen next week.
And that when the time comes, you'll be able to travel home in safety. In the meantime, Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel, Rick McGee, Debbie Wanless, Chocolate Cake Bites Podcast, and the Tiger, with a U, will be saving a seat for you
on the back row
of
the Cultural Hall.
Save me a seat, it's sure to be neat on the back row. We really gotta go on the Cultural Hall show.